Welcome to the Chairman's Corner. I'm Clerk to the Board, Carol Bowden, and this, of course, is our Chairman, Bill Pate. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Carol. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I hope you are.
I am. We got a lot to talk about.
Oh, my goodness. More than we have time for, so we're going to have to narrow it down a little bit.
Unlike what I usually say, it's going to be a short meeting. This is not going to be a short meeting.
No.
No, it's not.
No, not at all.
So you said you're going to order dinner, right?
We may have to. I'm hoping we can get it done in 24 hours.
Yeah. Anyway, we got some basic things that we'll be doing. We got a special recognition. This is our second 100th birthday here.
How about Wayne County growing some people right on up to their 100th birthday?
I'm telling you.
I love it.
I don't think I ever make it that far. Because I never thought I'd make as far as I have now, so.
You got a long ways to go. We'll try to keep you going here.
Okay.
Of course, we also recognize our employees who have been there for anywhere from 1 to 25
That's
or
right.
beyond, so we're excited about that also.
How many we got? Do you know? How many?
It's going to be quite a few.
Even longer, maybe.
Yes, sir.
But that's well worth it. They're worth every minute we spend on them. And I think we're going to have an appointment committee this time, so we've got some appointments to make. So,
We will.
Okay, that's great. We had, talking about our farmers market, we went out, and we were getting bids for the architect for that, and they came in really high.
More so than we expected, yes.
So we made some changes on what we want in that project because we don't need to overspend on this. But anyhow, we're going back out to rebid this thing, try to save a substantial amount of money, and I feel sure that we can. And we were also, you've heard us talk about in the past about the Shell building out at Park East, and we're now going out to select architect and design for that.
As well as 4 EMS stations.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
That's very important.
That's something that was in our retreat. The _1 goal for the commissioners over the year was that we would change the location of our EMS stations because let me back up. The hurricane kind of pushed this.
Yes.
Because it took out 7 Springs. And then we said, well, it's time for us to look at all this. So we're going to move stations so that everybody's within an 8-minute time frame from the station to pick up. Because there were big parts of the county, especially in my district and some in Commissioner Mayo's district, that were uncovered, and then even some in the south. But these stations, once they're completed, that we will cover the entire county in the 8-minute time frame that we're supposed to.
That's fantastic. And we have to remind everybody that, we're still dealing with Matthew, even though it was a year ago. We just celebrated that 1 year unfortunate anniversary, but you guys are still working hard to do a lot of recovery.
Even last night when I was at the hospital board, one of our new members is coming on, Freeman Harrison, was sitting beside me, and he's one of those people who had to be rescued by boat out of his attic.
My goodness.
And he still hasn't seen any relief yet, so he spent his own money at this point. So he's one of many people like that.
There are unfortunately way too many.
Oh, yeah, there are. Okay. Fred Fontana from
very excited about this, and what a phenomenal
Hillsborough
job
Wayne Transportation Authority. I have a hard time saying that. It's coming over. We're going to give veterans a free ride.
Yes, and that'll be during the Veterans Week.
That's correct. That's correct. And that's the right thing to do. They deserve that.
And more.
Oh, yeah. And let's see here. Something else has been going on in our counties. We've already had some consolidation of fire departments already, and we're going to see more of this. And we're going to establish a public hearing for December the 5th to see the consolidation, if I get that out, of Pate and Antioch fire service districts, because it's harder and harder this day and time to find a lot of volunteers to do this, because these people do this on their own.
Right.
They don't get paid to do this. So the number of firemen have dropped, and you've got to have a certain number so that you can cover the districts to keep the insurance rates down. And that's the real reason we're doing this, because the folks who own those houses out there, some of them may not realize it, but if you don't have proper fire service, your insurance rates go up.
That's correct.
So we want to prevent that from happening. And so that's what we're going to be doing. And after that, you'll be showing us an NCACC video.
That's always fun.
And we'll have our comments, and then we'll move into a work session, and that's where the fun begins.
Yes, sir. That's going to be definitely, it's going to be very productive, and it's going to be eye-opening for the citizens. So I hope that they'll listen and take the time to learn all that you guys are doing, because right now I have numerous pages here It's 49 projects.
Projects ongoing currently.
Yes.
So even we commissioners, and you mentioned one to me just a minute ago, but we got on camera, that I'd already forgotten about. So we need to review what we're doing and the goals we've set for ourselves before we start making new goals.
That's exactly
so
right.
It'll take some time to go through all that. And let's take a look at a few of them.
Yeah, the first one we want to talk about is the broadband internet service, and that's something that you personally have really pushed and worked hard on, and it's going to affect so much of our county, especially our school children.
You know, I had a lot, my district's very rural, so a lot of people have contacted me, farming operations, people who want to have home businesses, and families who have kids in school and recognizing they have to do a lot of their homework on the internet now. So that's how I sort of got involved in it, and I'm kind of going back, saying the same thing I said before. And I had the opportunity to see a presentation in New Orleans 3 years ago.
Wow. For
fixed wireless that was been done in the state of Oregon. And it works. And so I came back and I started investigating it. And at first I was told it wouldn't work here in Wayne County. Then I pursued it further and found out that it would. So we were already gotten much further on this project had we not have a little thing called Hurricane Matthew last October.
Yes.
And so that kind of got put on the back burner. But the need for broadband is still critical for these farming operations and other things I just named. And we have finally think we may have found a company that will be able to meet our needs. And we're talking anywhere from 200 to 260 megabytes per second, which is pretty fast. It's almost Google speed.
Wow.
And you can, the bottom, that's at the bottom, and that would be at $29.99 a month. Those who need more can pay more. But we're not quite through yet negotiating this deal out, so I don't want to go into too much more detail. But things look very bright, and we've got some meetings in the next week, matter of fact.
Well, you've mentioned something that's very important. That $29.99 suddenly makes less of a monopoly right here in Wayne County and brings a little competition. That's important.
Competition seems to bring out the best in business, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
We'll leave it at that.
All right, I want to stay on the schools right now because broadband, even though it's not just for the schools, we look at that as a project to really help the school kids because so much of what they do requires a computer and online services. So let's jump down here to working with Representative John Bell, and this is on getting the second year of the low wealth funding, and you might want to explain that a little bit.
It's kind of hard to explain because we were so amazed at the way the law is, and we give Dr. Dunsmore credit for catching it early on this past legislative year, that because we had dropped our tax rate in Wayne County below the average tax rate in North Carolina, we were no longer going to qualify for the low wealth funding.
Which is very, very
which is
important.
Right at $2 million. So we were being punished by being fiscally responsible, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, let that sink in for a moment. Being punished by $2 million for lowering taxes.
That's right. Now, this is a 2-year cycle, so to speak, and John and our legislative leaders were able to help us out last year, so we solved them 1 year, but we still face the same problem coming up. And part of it is, that I didn't say, is we're a military community. So if you have a student population of 25,000 or more, then you qualify. Mm-hmm. Ours is 18.
Right.
So we were just under that number, so we're hoping maybe they can find a way to change that. So that's one huge thing that we're facing in this upcoming legislative session. And I know John's working hard on it, and I appreciate it, and I've talked to Lewis about it, I've talked to Jimmy and Don and all the others.
Well, you've got a great group of legislators to work with,
Yeah,
and they care a lot about what happens in Wayne County.
And they understand what that means, because we're talking almost 1.5 cents on the property tax here, just for that. Right. To cover that. And we don't have any wiggle room. And then we got the next thing, which ties right into it. The legislature has decided that your number of students in the classroom has to be reduced. Well, what that means is you have to hire more teachers and build more classrooms. That's more money.
And this is coming off of, this is in addition to the new schools you've already built.
That's right. We've invested over $80 million in school construction in the last 5 years. Right. So, we've gone to the mat and about emptied the bank out to a point that, we're facing these things, and, if we can't find a solution, and I always hate to say that, tax rate may be impacted, but it could be.
It could be, but there is there's light at the end of the tunnel there in terms of the state lottery funds.
That's
There's
great.
perhaps $10 million in grants available.
Yeah, but I think it's a match, so I'm not quite sure how that works.
Okay.
You need George here to answer that.
Yeah,
question.
we do.
Or Allison, our finance director.
But you're talking about 70 more classrooms, and that's a huge,
Yeah, it is. And
huge.
we're short. I can't remember what George said the other day. Dr. Dunsmore said we were about 10 short, something like that. Because, we got 24 more planned in the northern end of the county we've already promised to pay for.
Right.
Which is coming out, of bond money and that kind of thing.
And then, of course, with the new Meadow Lane elementary school,
Yeah.
that's going to help as well. But that's replacing.
Well, and it's also combining two schools into one.
Right.
Which, cuts down on the number of administrative staff you've got to have at the top. So that's a savings to the taxpayer there.
Without a doubt. All right, enough about schools. I think we've
Yeah.
shared enough good and not so good
Yeah,
news
well,
on that one.
it is what it is, and we got to take care of our kids. We don't have any choice in the matter.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Let's talk about the next thing that I think is, it just shows how hard you guys work to make certain that every dollar of the taxpayer's money is spent wisely, and you don't just take it for granted, and you don't just let things set. And this is reviewing a contract that could potentially save the county $150,000 a year or more.
That's in our collections on the EMS, emergency services side. And we had not reviewed the contract in a number of years. And we got looking at it a little closer and realized that probably we were getting shortchanged here. So we've now gone out for bid, and we think we're going to be able to save $150,000 a year.
That's fantastic. And you said it's creating an opportunity to look at even more.
Well, I agree. I think we need to look at, I told George let's get Noel to take a look at all our contracts and see what we haven't bid out. Because people don't understand how many contracts we have out there. And it's hard to keep up with, and I'm glad she does, because I can't.
Well, our departments alone number in the upper 20s to low 30s, so that right there tells you that it's a lot.
Yeah, and they make us look good. I'm going to give them a lot of credit for the great work that they do.
We have amazing department managers.
Yeah, we do.
I'm really proud of them. All right, and then I guess finally what we want to talk about is a couple of other projects that are going on. One is the Stepping Up initiative. A lot of people don't know that's even happening, and it's bringing together a lot of important people within the mental health industry and the healthcare industry, as well as even our jails and our law enforcement, to try to remove mental health patients from our jail system and our emergency rooms and put them in the correct care.
We actually talked about this at the hospital board meeting last night.
Did you?
We sure did.
Awesome.
Because they understand how critical it is, and it's hard to find, and believe it or not, it's hard to find psychiatrists. They're in shortage, they really are. So they're doing their best they can to recruit to bring them to Wayne County as hard as they can. And a lot of people don't know that most of, I ain't gonna say most, I don't know that for a fact, a lot of the people who are inmates in our jail have some problems, some mental health problems.
Without a doubt, just in the juveniles, 70 to 80% undiagnosed.
And then, we've got the East Point, which is the gatekeeper for the mental health dollars, and there are a lot of different contractors in the county who provide those services. And it's kind of mixed up right now because you've got the changes that are going from LMEs to MCOs, and I won't go into what all that means. But
it is complicated, and it's
East Point had agreed to go with Cardinal now, and then the secretary said no, so we're kind of in limbo there as to who's going to handle those dollars. But we need to find a way to help these inmates, because a lot of the reasons that they keep coming back to our jail is through those mental health issues. And if you can't solve that, it's a revolving door.
Exactly. So. Craig Honeycutt, who's our county manager designate, he's our assistant at the moment, put it the best way I've ever heard. He said they're serving a life sentence 30 days at a time.
That's exactly right. I remember him saying that.
So we're really excited about this, and we have Wayne Memorial Hospital, East Point, the sheriff, Mel.
Is Cherry involved with it too, Cherry Hospital?
Yes.
I think they would be.
Yes, very much so. So we're very excited that everyone has come together.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Oh, it is.
And then the next, then I guess maybe final thing, unless you have something else to talk about, is we're excited that many people in Wayne County, if not most, remember the late Senator John Carr as a very fine, just friend to the county and to Eastern North Carolina. He's a phenomenal man.
Well, let's just face it, he was a very powerful senator.
Yes, he was.
And his voice was strong in the legislature, and he did a lot of things for Wayne County. And I think it's just fitting that we do name a highway after him, or something. We needed to do something. And I've asked Wayne Aycock if he would be the person who would speak that day.
You did.
Because he had a personal relationship with John that I didn't have.
Right.
But,
And he's very excited about that.
I know he is, and I look forward to it.
It's been a joint effort, so we're going to name 5 miles of the new Highway 70 for the late Senator John Carr, and the city has participated in this, of course, Department of Transportation, so we'll see the signs go up, and this is happening a little bit later in the fall, but it's one of our many, many projects going
And
on.
let's just hope it's cool.
Yes, please, because look at this hair. This is what this humidity is doing to me.
It gets mine too, so.
Yeah, I know. I was getting ready to say something about that, but I think that's all that we have to cover, unless there's something else you can think of.
Well, we don't have enough time to cover all we're going to cover on Tuesday. Folks, I'm just telling you, if you want to hear everything that the commissioners are doing, tune in on Tuesday if you got time, and you'll be, I guess, surprised. And I was surprised when I found out the list was 49 projects.
You should work there. I'm not surprised. No, it is a lot going on, so do join us Tuesday if you have the opportunity, and of course, Public Affairs will post this on our website as well as on our Facebook page. But I think that does it for today's Chairman's Corner, and I thank you, Chairman Payton.
Thanks again.